Good day, scrappers. It's time to scrap a computer. Alright, so let's get it. Now this is a beautiful piece of innovation. It's Dell and it looks fairly new. Dell Inspiron 530S, and it looks fairly new, but unfortunately it was in the dumpster in the rain for 4 days. So I very much doubt it works. And although it was a beautiful piece of technology and it probably brought somebody happiness in the way of internet, its time has run out. And now it's up to the economic decomposer to tear it apart. Sorry, I got a little thing in my throat. Now, many scrapyards pay for just the computer just like this. And that's awesome because a lot of the computer's weight comes from its big steel case. And yeah, that's pretty good. But if you want to tear it apart to get a little more money, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And it's very easy. It takes a little time. So, what we're going to start with is on the back. Usually there's a side of the computer that comes off very easily just for people to make computer repairs, since they fail a lot. Clearly this one did, some guy threw it away. So right here, you'll see there's screws that you can even just take out by hand. They're that big and they jut out, and you take them out by hand. They should be made of steel. We could always do the magnet test. Okay, so these are the screws I took out. And then they're steel, so you can go ahead and pocket those. Now, this part of the board where they were screwed in, if you slide it, yep, there it goes. If you slide it, it pops right out. Now, don't throw it away in your steel pile. Just keep it aside for right now. Okay, and now we have a view on the inside of the computer. Oh, there's a little blocker right there, which we're gonna need to take out soon. But oh, there it is. So, there's a little steel blocker right there. Again, whatever steel parts that just slide off or whatever, don't discard them in your steel pile quite yet. You're going to need them later on. And I'm going to show you why. This thing would budge. That's embarrassing. Okay, so remember, keep it aside. And now you're going to look on the inside of the computer. There's tons of goodies in this that are very easy to take out. Okay? Right there we have the power supply box. And right there we have the DVD drive and I think, yeah, another CD drive. Don't mess with these quite yet. There's not really anything good in there unless you're into Gold Refinery and stuff like that. Now, remember, Gold Refinery takes a lot of things to take out. Alright? So what we're going to do now is we're going to find all the wires and their little ports and we're going to disconnect them. And they usually just pull right on out. So there'll be some in the DVD drive, there'll be some on the circuit board. It's going to take some time to pull it out. But while you're doing that, I want you to direct your attention to these things right here, if you see those. Those right there are RAM cards. And they contain gold, and people will buy them on eBay because they contain gold. And they usually have two little levers. You press down with your thumbs, they pop right out. Pretty neat. Usually around 2 or 3 in the average computer. Let me show them up close. These are blue, but a lot of times they're green or red or different colors. But those little fingers along there, they have a very, very tiny bit of gold. And people will buy them on eBay in bulk. So I collect them in bulk to sell them. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Unless you want to be a creep and analyze what somebody had on the computer, which is always a fair option, I guess. They threw it away. So disconnect all the wires, since wires are worth more than the average scrap computer price. My scrapyard pays 20 cents a pound for computers, which is great, which means that I don't have to bother with taking out stuff like, or no, that I need to take out. I don't need to bother with taking out fans and stuff, because fans or electric motors are worth about 10 cents a pound. Not really worth it to take them out. But things like wires, like 30, 40 cents a pound, insulated wire, you're going to go right on ahead and take those out. Oops. There we go. Now make sure if you want more money for your wires, unless you have people who will pay money for these color wires, always sell before you scrap. Unless you have people who will pay a lot of money for the wires, I don't. Just go ahead and clip the ends off of those. It'll get you a lot more money if you clip the ends off. It's not worth the weight. Weight, W-E-I-G-H-T. And you go ahead and pull away in your insulated wire pile. Excuse me. Alrighty. Now that we have some of the wires cleared out of the way, I'm gonna want you to look at that right there. It's a little tiny aluminum heatsink, and there's little levers, like little, I think stainless steel levers or something. You just push out of the way that are hooked onto stuff that hold it in place. Gonna need some pliers for that. Just a pair of these. There we go. That's one. And that's two. Alright, you could, sometimes they come out by hand. Sometimes you need a little help from Mr. Flathead. There we go. And let's check if those little bars are steel. They're not. They're not ferrous. So we can go ahead and toss in the aluminum pile. Mine, my scrapyard pays the same price for stainless steel and aluminum, so the workers don't bother separating it. Which I don't know if it's bad practice or what. Oh, there's another one that we could unhook. Oh, this one comes out by hand. Bad practice. Oh, there it goes. Let's check. Not magnetic. Awesome possum. Now I want you to turn your attention on this giant fan right here. Now you can't really quite see it. I can't angle it right, but there's an aluminum heatsink. It's actually a radiator because there's little copper pipes that run through it, and it's held in by 4 screws. Sometimes these could be hex screws, but this time it's going to be a crosshead. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out really quick if you wait, or you could skip ahead like 20 seconds. 30. There's springs. The screws are held in by springs. So sometimes they will pop after about 2. They are always caked with dust, though, so be careful. If you're asthmatic, be very careful around computers and vacuum cleaners and box TVs, because they will always contain dust. Always. And this computer doesn't have much dust on the circuit board, or the motherboard, but it has a lot of dust in its fan. It might have been the reason why it stopped working in the first place, but now it was left out in the rain, so it's going to stop working forever. Especially since I took and clipped all the wires out of it. Okay, so you see that the heatsink, there was something that it was connected to. And you're very right to think that. And this is the most important part. More important than even the power supply. Which also, that this power supply that a lot of the wires are connected to, you're going to want to remove that. Because that contains a lot of little copper goodies on the inside. Also a bunch of wire on the inside. And it's thick enough to strip in most cases, which is cool. So let me just pull that out so you can see better. Right there where the heatsink was on, is this like weird thing that's held in a case. Now I love this case because it feels like you're opening up like treasure. No, that's just me. So right there is a lever, just like the other aluminum heatsinks, and you open it, and it pops right on open. Oh man, I should have done that more carefully. But this thing is the main computer processor chip. And it's so amazing, look at it. Wow. I think, I don't know what that's made of, usually some sort of metal. But all these little things is exactly what you think. They're all very, very small little bits of gold. This one isn't pinned, a lot of them are pins. This one's smooth. There's just little bits of gold, and yes, people will buy this in bulk, just like the RAM card. And I have a couple little saved up. So I'm gonna put them right in there, the rest of them. So that was the highlight of the evening. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna find little things on the motherboard. I forget what these things are called. Man, it's not coming to me now. But little chips like this. I forget what they're called, but they contain silver oxide or some component of silver. So you're gonna want to pull these things off if you want. I collect them in bulk because someday I'm gonna harvest them. And they're usually on it. Like there's usually one on every circuit board. They're even on TV circuit boards. So if that's something you want to look at in the circuit board. There's also little copper windings all over the place, but they're just so small that I kind of don't want to waste my time on them. And it's just weird because I waste my time a lot. So just pull out all the things. And this is the this is the power supply unit on the computer. It's right here. Oh, usually it's connected to a fan that comes out, but it's where the plug-in goes. And there's going to be some screws holding it into the computer. And usually if you take those screws out, it'll just pop right on. Well, you got to pop it yourself out, but you got to unscrew it out. And that is, that you may decide that's not worth your time. You can just clip the wires on the outside. But I always love opening it and finding all the little copper and aluminum pieces inside, because it's worth more. Well, it's worth to me because I can do it quickly. So if you want, you can do that. But other than that, that's the last piece on the computer that you really want to worry about. So you want to worry about the wires, you want to worry about the main heat sink, the secondary heat sinks, and you want to worry about the RAM cards, and you want to worry about the main processor chip, which contains gold. So that's really all. Oh, and it comes out. That's really all there is to scrapping a computer. Oh, I forgot to mention, the reason why I told you to save those steel plates is because when you're all done scrapping the computer and you pull everything out, then you can just reattach the steel onto the thing, and it'll be worth more money, since the computer you're paying, well, they're paying you for the scrap computer, which is 20 cents a pound, rather than 5 cents a pound for the steel. So you can go ahead and reattach those. You can say that's unethical all you want, but I want my money. Have a good day, scrappers.